Hello everyone. So we have just completed the 2024 ethics paper. I know a lot of surprises, a lot of shocks, a lot of disappointed faces I have seen when discussing with the students. It was quite a different paper. It has its own level of surprises. But don't get too much carried away. When we look back, when we have a objective analysis, this paper is not, obviously it was surprising, but it is not something which is undoable or which is completely out of the blue. There are elements of continuity, or you can say the pattern which UPSC follows, which is being dominating in this paper also. But the point is, as a student, as a student of ethics, are you really able to identify this? Are you really able to apply your mind? Are you really able to excel in this part where UPSC is keeping its continuity? On the other part, where there is changes, where there is new elements brought into the ethics paper, this is something which we haven't seen in previous years papers, either 2023 paper, which was direct pick from the ethics syllabus we have. This is a lot more application based paper where what is asked, you need to go a little bit deeper. You need to have a very integral understanding of current developments from ethical perspective. So this is something new, and this is tough for all. This is surprising for all. As a student, what I really want you to look forward when we prepare for 2025 mains, or somebody is preparing for beyond that, to look for the surprises, how to manage the surprises within the time, within the available resources, within the available knowledge. What you can do to maintain this. This should be the key takeaway from all these trend analysis or similar discussions you are having. This is not simply a complete discussion of answers or so. We'll have that in detail in later part. Let's get started. Let's see what exactly is being asked in the paper. See, this is, this is the 5 defining questions of 2024. Look the whole paper. People, whatever opinion you are seeing in the market, it's tough, it's undoable, it's that, it's this, everything stems from these 5 questions. First question, the first question of the paper itself, the application of artificial intelligence, the dependable source of input for administrative rational decision making, is a debatable issue. Recently, we have a statement by Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud itself, who spoke about potential of artificial intelligence in automating the routine task even in judicial processes. But he also emphasized there is still need for human touch in critical decision making. This is somewhere the context of this particular question, and you can obviously expand on this rationale. Critically examine the statement from ethical point of view. Again, you have to critically examine is the keyword here. You have to give argument in support of where you can employ artificial intelligence, the potential of artificial intelligence in the administrative rational decision making, how your decisions can be more objective, more impersonal. It is in line with government's vision of less government and more governance. So a lot of ideas you can bring into. You can bring in the element of judiciary, you can bring in the element of fund allocation, resource management, human resource management within government. All these lot of aspects, how artificial intelligence in customer interfacing, how artificial intelligence, the chatbots which we see in different apps, the chatbots which we see in banks, this can have huge potential if rightly employed in government administrative systems. So all these examples you can write in positive side, where in negative there is always chance for bias. We have seen in the context of United States, the whole artificial intelligence, how it works on the input data you feed on. And what data you feed on? Already a biased data that can contain the biases of the society. In US it was racial bias. In India you will be having this caste-based bias, gender-based bias, region-based bias, linguistic differences, urban-rural bias. So if you feed in the data with all these biases, what you get out of artificial intelligence also will be something which contain all this bias and discrimination, maybe at an enlightened or say heightened level. Again, this particular question, you can highlight all the challenges of artificial intelligence. Again, lot of the black box concept you can link here. I know this is something we are going a little bit beyond the scope of artificial ethics, but you can bring in the concept of black box, so people don't know how an artificial intelligence works. Many of times we are just seeing the output, we doesn't know what the process is going on in the behind. So how we can bring this into, say, state functioning, or you can say more important critical works, if you don't know the background functioning clearly. Secondly, a lot of other concerns related to artificial intelligence. Who holds the accountability if artificial intelligence is borrowing, some wrong decisions is being made? For example, the self-driving cars go and hit somebody. Who is responsible? Is the algorithm responsible? Is the owner of the car responsible, or is the passenger sitting inside the car responsible? So we have some kind of a accountability doubt, or you can say accountability mismatch when implementing artificial intelligence. A lot of examples, more examples are there, you can connect with this. You critically examine his statement, so you have to show the positive as well as negative sides. That is one question. Look at the second question. It's not enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it. And it is not just enough to believe in it. One must act upon it. In present context, the major weapon industries of developed nations are adversely influencing continuation of a number of wars for their own self-interest all around the world. What are ethical considerations of powerful nations in today's international arena to stop continuation of ongoing conflicts? What is the challenge of this question? I accept this is an application again taken from the current developments that is happening. There is a lot of articles on Israel, US supporting Israel, what Israel is doing in Gaza, what Israel is doing to a lot of other neighbors. There is a lot of articles, even Trump versus Kamala Harris. The debate is also, both these candidates are supporting whom? Supporting the Israel. And a third party is emerging, even though there is very less chance for winning, but a third party of Green Party is getting significant support from people of America, which some were opposed supporting Israel due to its contact in Gaza. So this is one kind of a context for this question. But again, the demand is, what are the ethical considerations? Ethical considerations of whom? The powerful nations. It is not asked India. It is asked of powerful nations in today's international arena to stop continuation of ongoing conflicts. So you can bring in what is a perspective of USA. USA focus, what is USA required? It requires stability, global trade, democratic principles. What does Russia requires? It doesn't require threats, self, you can have preservation, or you can say self-resistance that leads to war. What is the problem of Hamas and Gaza people? That is a question of identity. Identity crisis is what they're facing. All these terms you can bring in this particular answer. You can not stop here. You can go into this China's incursions in its South China Sea, China's incursions in other parts of the world. You can also bring in other countries, including India, also into this question. But what I'm saying is, your answer should not be limited to India. India can be brought into this context also. Again, India's buying of Russian oil, India's continuing support for Israel, India voting against, India refusing to vote, abstaining from voting against Israel in UN General Assembly. All this has been in news, in debate. So we can bring all these elements into these aspects. See the question number 2B. Global warming and climate change are the outcomes of human greed in the name of development, indicating the direction in which extinction of organisms, including human beings, is heading towards laws of life on earth. How do you put an end to this to protect life and bring equilibrium between society and environment? Again, it's not a tough question. What is the difficulty to read all these unnecessary paragraphs? Why should I read all this? You can directly ask this question in 2 lines. No, but UPSC likes to have some fun, and it's given you a huge sentence and 2 sentences, and now have fun how to solve this problem, environmental problem. Now here, what is again the classical debate in this question is, sir, what if I write a simply environmental answer? The same question can come in GS3. How difference I can make it in ethics? Most of the points in GS3 are valid here also. But again, as I said, add some ethical brownies. What are these ethical brownies? Think about historical responsibilities. Think about intention and will. Like, for example, India continues to burn coal. India continues to invest in coal. India doesn't need lives to shut down its coal power plants in the near future. Now, this can be considered as an anti-environmental position. But what is the intention? What is the will? We are a country of having significant poverty, having very low per capita income. We need cheap energy for growth. So our intention is to bring more cheaper energy to the people, give better standard of living to the people. And you see how the elements of deontology, you can bring the element of utilitarianism, how you can bring utilitarianism here, investing in, or you can shifting to cleaner energies, shifting to solar plants. It may be costlier. Shifting to hydrogen based economy, it is costlier, it is going to cost government, it is going to cost different industries. But what you should focus on is not this immediate cost. What you should focus on is how long term or multi stakeholder benefits it is going to bring in. Think about human greed is something which is discussed here. So bring about the element of Gandhian way of life, bring in the element of One Health concept. See, I have still sticked with your points of GS3, but we have given an ethical touch to this. This is what you have to do. Rest you can write your framework based on this frame, whatever existing knowledge you have. So this next, the fifth question, number 5B. The soul of new law, Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, is justice, equality and impartiality based on Indian culture and ethos. Discuss in light of major shift from a doctrine of punishment to justice in the present judicial system. So again, this is the confusing element is bringing in the concept of Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, bringing the concept of justice, equality, impartiality based on Indian culture and ethos. These are like confusing elements of this question. You simply ask, Indian law is just transforming over the time from punishment to justice. Lot of laws are undergoing this change. Which are these particular big laws? Laws like, you can say, on sexual harassment. Earlier, one side we are increasing the punishment rates, but other side you can see better provisions provided for victim support. See the case of caste-based harassment. See the case of human rights, other violations. The focus is being shifted from punishment to giving better support for the victim in online crimes, in modern crimes. Where is the focus? The focus is in supporting the victim, not just simply bringing in the element of punishment. The concept of deterrence, which we usually study in ethics, from deterrence model, not just India, the whole world is moving towards from deterrence to retributive justice. So this is the concept you can relate in this particular question. Again, this is something which was again in news regarding to the Aparijita Act. What is particularly this, or you can say Aparijita Bill, which was passed by West Bengal state government. And what it is about, it is like keeping a very stringent, very rigid law to prevent sexual harassment. Above POXCO, above BNS, it brings elements like within 2 weeks you have to complete this investigation as well as trial, and within it mandates giving death penalty. That means death penalty, that is highest level of punishment within Indian law. And this has to be given by court. Government doesn't have the power to give death penalty to a person. That is being curtailed. When you mandate death penalty for certain punishments, who is having the authority of taking decisions? The decision is made by the government, not by the court. So on many aspects, we have seen this Abarjda Act being contested. It is being considered as unconstitutional and anti-feminist. So in this context, you can bring in some of the references regarding this into the answer. See the 5th B question. In Indian culture and value system, an equal opportunity has been provided irrespective of gender identity. The number of women in public service has been steadily increasing over the years. Examine gender-specific challenges faced by female public servants and suggest suitable measures to increase their efficiency in discharging their duties and maintaining high standards of probity. So again, the question, what is it? It is again confused. A lot of terms have been given, a lot of sentences has been given just to confuse you. The question is asking about what are the ethical issues faced by gender-based issues that is persisting in Indian context, Indian especially administrative context, and what can be the way forward for this. Question is straightforward, but there are a lot of statements, a lot of confusing terms, the way in which it is being presented, that takes time to understand. In pressure of examination, to understand the demand of the question, it takes time if you are not super smart. These are the 5 questions I consider that will define this paper. Every discussion will be limited to these 5 questions. But one thing, any student who is looking this paper a little bit objectively should focus on. This is not the end of the paper. I will show you how much questions we got directly. Questions we got directly from the themes, from the PYQs, from the concepts that we directly taken from the syllabus. From themes we directly discuss in the class. A lot part of the paper is coming from these aspects. See this question, ethics encompasses again the nature in which question is presented. It's difficult. But see what is asked, how they explain the key dimensions of ethics that influence human actions. Directly dimensions of ethics from the syllabus is being asked. Discuss how these dimensions shape ethical decision making in professional context. In professional, what are the dimensions of ethics and how it plays a role? That is, you have to write. You have 2 different questions and 10 marker, and you have a statement for introduction and first part. So you can write very good answer for this, easy. The concept of just and unjust is contextual. What was just a year back may turn out to be unjust in today's context. Changing context should be constantly under scrutiny to prevent miscarriage of justice. Examine the above statement with suitable examples. Again, if I look this question independently, it may be looking a little bit again. The presentation of question is adding a lot of difficulties. What is the concept here? Relative ethics versus absolute ethics. How many times we have studied this in class? How many times we have seen this in PYQs? It contains one of the favorite topics of UPSC. Is ethics something that is static or applicable throughout the world, or is it something that is evolving during different times? So this again, even though the way question is presented, it adds a lot of difficulties to this. I'm not contesting this. But this is not again a tough question. This is picked directly from one of the most favorite topics of UPSC. See the next question, question 4B. Mindless addiction to form, ignoring the substance of the matter, results in rendering of injustice. Perceptive civil servant is one who ignores such literalness and carries out true intent. Examine the above statement with suitable illustrations. I know a lot of you will be thinking why this is an easy question, why this is a question is in this, it should be in the first part of change element. In isolation, this question may look difficult. Go and check the 2022 paper. First question regarding wisdom. Wisdom is understanding what to overlook, what to reckon and what to overlook. For a civil servant, what is wisdom? There are a lot of laws, there are a lot of works to be done, and wisdom lies in understanding what to reckon with and what to overlook. The same concept, the exact same concept in a different tone is being presented here. Fifth question, I'm not even reading this question. Code of conduct, code of ethics paper. Question, it can be asked in a direct way how code of ethics can be implemented. No, it added its twist. What is a twist? Twist is not in essence. Twist is only in the presentation. Read the question. It's a lot of things you can find here. But at the end of the day, what is asked? Suggest a suitable model for code of ethics to maintain integrity, probity, transparency in governance. This is exact thing we will study from this topic. What do you study from code of ethics, code of conduct? What is the difference between these two and how you can implement both of these? This is exactly you prepare, and that is exactly being asked. No, you can say challenge. You can just replicate your notes in this and score marks out of it. Mission Karma Yogi for maintaining a very high standard of conduct and behavior to ensure efficiency for serving citizens and in turn developing oneself. How will this scheme empower civil servants in enhancing productive efficiency and delivering the services at the grassroots level? Again, lot of keywords, difficulties is there. But again, Mission Karma Yoga is something not new. How many times we have discussed in case studies in section A, the whole concept of Mission Karma Yoga, it lies in transforming administration of India from rule-based model to role-based model. When we discuss democratic governance and bureaucratic governance, we speak about Mission Karma Yogi. When writing way forward for most of the administrative questions, I have emphasized Mission Karma Yogi should be one of your point. This is where you can say you can score too much. If you are missing any questions from these five, you are doing injustice to your preparation. As a serious aspirant, as a serious student, these are the 5 questions you should score high, and these should compensate for the earlier 5 questions I have seen. Let's go further. This is not the end of it. See the quotation based question. Normally I have seen a lot of students find this difficult. Why quotation based question is difficult? They haven't prepared. Prepare it systematically, it is cakewalk. See the first quotation. Learn everything that is good from others, but bring it in and in your own way absorb it. Do not become others. Again, these kind of quotations where there is continuity of ideas. What is our approach? Your approach should be to split the idea of the quotation. What is the idea of the quotation? First thing, it is promoting learning good from others. Learning good from others. So my heading after some introduction will be why learning good from others is important. Why it is important for me, why as a society it is important, how it plays roles in evolution of society, why as a nation it is important for us. Second, what is the second element of this quotation? Bring it in and in your own way, absorb it and do not become others. That means do not copy. That means do not, it is speaking about individualism, importance of individualism. You can only find happiness in your work, in your study, in your whatever XYZ activity you are doing, if that is an extension of your personality. If you are trying to simply copy what society's orders to you or what some other person ordered to you, you are simply being a slave. And to being a slave is always exhaustive, or it's always against true spirit of human will. So what is the importance of individualism? What is importance of learning good from others? How you can make others' ideas your own? All these elements, synchronization, Indian culture, the concept of Indian culture, were different ideas, different religions, different cultures, different way of life. All these have been synchronized in some way, some or the other way. And bring these ideas, at least split the quotation into 2 ideas, and it's a cakewalk. See the next quotation. Faith is of no avail in the absence of strength. Faith and strength both are essential to accomplish great work. Again, what is this? Think about what is the values, and it is very directly given. Faith and strength, importance of faith, importance of strength, importance of both these together. If faith is, if faith or strength, either one is not present, then that is going to be a catastrophe. Give examples, give dimensions of this, that is it. Third, in law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of doing so. Immanuel Kant. Again, what is the critical, what is the aspect that should strike your mind? I have shown you, I have given you in your workbooks. Open your workbooks and look. The one of the classical approach to quotation based question. The first method we studied is to look whether the quotation is in support of any theories. And this is in line with deontology ethics. We see this classical example of deontology ethics. Suppose the classical example is that there is a pond and a child is drowning. One guy sees the child drowning, he jumps into the river or the pond and saves the child. Now, is this act ethical or unethical? I know 100% of you will say this act is, how can this act be unethical? Obviously, this act is absolutely ethical. Now, just twist the context a little bit. Simply not instead of pond, we keep a board in front of the pond. That's anyone who saves a drowning person will be rewarded 1 lakh rupees. Now the same child is drowning in the pond and the man sees this particular boat. 1 lakh rupees will be rewarded and he jumps into the pond and saves the child, drowning child. And the child is safe in both the cases. Now is this second act ethical or unethical? Again, we have difference of opinion. We have debated in within the classes. And utilitarianism perspective says there is no difference in both the cases, because in both the cases the child is saved. The outcome is absolutely similar, and why should be there a difference in ethical analysis? But deontology says only the first case is ethical, the second case is unethical. Why the second case is unethical? Because intention is not just saving a fellow human being. The intention may be getting rich from this XYZ money. So deontology, where it places the analysis of being ethical or not, is on intention, is on will of particular act. This is where it is not just your action, it is what you think also matters in ethics. What you desires, what is your motivation, that also matters in ethics. Direct application of deontology ethics. We have given what are the supporting arguments for each and every theories, and we have given criticism. Just use that theories and fulfill this answer. Direct copy paste answer from your note. Going ahead, case studies. Again, case studies, what I find is the pattern is continuing. What pattern? That is making things a little bit more complex, especially the first 3 case studies are quite lengthy. But what is the brighter side of this? Similar to the continuity elements, none of the case studies I find completely out of the box. None of the case studies are from any of the new themes that UPSC introduced. All the themes has been repeated from PYQs. All the themes are standard themes we discuss in the class. We discuss this 5, 8 and 12 themes of case studies in the class. See, from public sector, we discussed following rules versus acting with compassion, the obedience to authority versus moral duty, speaking up about unethical practices, that is whistleblowing specifically, striking a balance between development and social cost. Exact case studies are being asked in this year from these themes. In private sector, we see conflict between integrity and self-interest. In this question, this particular CEO, what he is facing, on one hand, he has his self-interest, that is to make more profits for the company. On the other hand, he is losing in the process. He is creating a lot of problems, creating a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, creating other XYZ issues. Exact arguments which we have studied can be replicated even in the question. Mini question has 4 questions, but that is not for all. the small case studies, and even in the 4 questions, many questions are directly what we prepare. What is ethical issues? What are different options available? What can be the best option? What are justification for this? What are analysis of these options? So exactly these themes are being repeated. These questions are being repeated. So if you have prepared case study systematically, your only challenge is completing the paper. Reading and understanding, relating with what is your base knowledge and applying this. There lies the challenge, and not in the content itself, like we have seen in section A. Sorry. Yeah, again the second case study, a very similar kind of question. See, this case study also, I put this due to one more reason. There is a classic challenge in answering this case study. This is question number 8, I guess. What is the classic challenge? See the questions being asked. What are the options available to Raman to tackle the above situation? We have a complex situation where there is unemployment and people being recruited into a new terrorist organization and situation. So what the Raman is a police officer, and what are the options available before him? What measures would you suggest for strengthening existing setup to ensure that such groups do not succeed in penetrating and vitiating the atmosphere in the state? So again, what is options? What suggest strengthening measures? Third question, in the above scenario, what action plan would you advise for enhancing intelligence gathering mechanism of police force? Intelligence gathering mechanism, how to strengthen. 3 questions is being asked, very similar question. If you haven't read all the 3 questions together, there is high chance you will write the same answer for all of these. You understand the difficulties. We have made a very similar question for our test series, open test, I guess, litmus test series, and we have got comments regarding this. These questions are exactly similar. These are not exactly similar. Understanding the underlying difference, that is the challenge of this particular question. Students has to keep a note of this. This is not first time UPSC is doing this. Across questions we have seen, within question we have seen. Even though question looks similar, there are underlying differences. What are options available to Raman? Here you should focus on immediate issues. Immediate options available before Raman. The focus is on immediate activities. Second, what are the measures for strengthening? Here it is long term, or you can say medium term. Immediate you can add 1-2 points, but that should not be the focus of your answer. Your focus of your answer should be much broader. And third part, this is a particular case like intelligence gathering, how it can be strengthened. So it can be a part of way forward of long term or immediate solutions, but that should be more focused in this particular answer. So read all the cases, all the questions at least once before starting answering. Only if you can understand the nuances, you can write according to the demand of the questions. Otherwise you will write same answer for everything, and this is not a school exam where you will be rewarded for filling the pages. So this is whole conclusion. What is the conclusion of whole discussion we had? The paper on first go, it looks tough, it looks very lengthy, and many of the toughness is adding to, like, on the peripheral level. The crux of the questions, there is a lot of continuity, but you should be able to prepare the PYQs. You should be understand the underlying themes within the syllabus and in PYQs. And there are tough questions, I'm not denying it. There are quite tougher questions, quite new questions, surprising questions. And you have to use your common sense. You have to use your knowledge across disciplines and try to frame a decent answer for this. These are the difficulties. These are the key takeaways for any student preparing for 2025 mains. Now, this is not the time where your definitions, examples is going to help you. Ethics preparation, ethics paper has evolved beyond this. Now you have to integrate current affairs into your ethics preparation. There is no question of iota of doubt into this. You have to get ethics news. You have to follow, for example, the current edge and get a note on your what is the recent developments and what is ethical dimensions of this. This is first thing. Second, lengthy paper. This difficulty in ethics paper is its length. You have to read around 1500 to 2000 words, then you have to comprehend things, then you have to bring in your ideas and present it in 40-50 pages. This is obviously a challenge, but this difficulty is not going to be rolled back. It is going to be stay here. And what you can do is you should prepare for this. As a student, next time you are going to get lesser time between prelims and mains, and it is your responsibility. Even if you are not writing other GS papers, for ethics you have to prepare. You have to prepare how to present things within the speculated time. Otherwise it's going to be complete mess of whatever your preparation level is. Then do not miss the lower hanging fruits. Again, the marks, the judgment is at the lower hanging levels, and you should not miss this. You should prepare the syllabus thoroughly, and this is where you should excel. You should overcompensate on the difficult questions which you may be missing out. Now, quotation based questions, instead of seeing it as a challenge, prepare it systematically. There is systematic approach for quotation based questions, and if it done correctly, quotation based as well as case studies, these can be hugely scoring parts of your ethics paper. These are some of the major learnings for a 2025 mains preparation student. And we have a lot of programs for ethics specific as well as replay, as well as we have these Pratibimb PYQ based mentorship programs. Do check out the Kalam IAS website and Telegram channel to get more information out of this. And these, whatever it is, this 5 learning should be the basis of your ethics preparation going ahead. On that note, we will wind up the session. Thank you so much and all the best.